Welcome to Business Stories on Business Television Africa. Let's take a look at the headlines. Business came to a standstill as air traffic controllers embark on strike. Traders cry foul as government makes known intention on reducing importation of foodstuff. Indian firm ASS foray into Kenya with massive investment in infrastructure to come to a halt. My name is Roberta Ayalingo. Now to the news in details. Business for local airlines in the country came to a standstill on Tuesday morning as workers at the Air Traffic Control Unit embarked on a strike action against authorities for failing to meet their demands. Both operators and passengers are disappointed in authorities for not taking keen interest in preventing the situation.
Air traffic control is a service provided by ground-based controllers who direct aircraft on the ground and through controlled airspace and can provide advisory services to aircraft in non-controlled airspace. The primary purpose of ATC Worldwide is to prevent collisions, organize and expedite the flow of traffic, and provide information and other support for pilots. But on Tuesday, the 4th of March, 2014, this significant role by the Air Traffic Control Unit at the Kotoka International Airport came to a halt. Passengers were left stranded and frustrated.
I came here 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and I was scheduled to leave to Kumasi 8 o'clock in the morning. So since 6:30 in the morning, I've been here up to now, and nothing has been. Authorities never told anything about what's happening. We just heard that those people, traffic control people are on strike, but nobody has officially come to inform us anything about this. So we're still waiting. Unfortunately, it's affecting a lot of business because for me in person, I have an appointment in Kumasi 2 p.m. I can't disappoint them because they are my business partners. What means I need to wait until the time that they will ask us that the green light has been given so we can go. So I'm still waiting. And this is a total inconvenience to everybody. How am I going to use the transport? Because our meeting is scheduled for 2 p.m. and it's now already 11 p.m. How am I going to go by road? It means that it will have a huge impact on my business because huge disappointment to my clients. How am I going to explain to them? Booking an appointment with them and not being able to make it. How am I going to convince them to just assemble again for me next time? It's going to be serious for me and it may affect my business. 100% disappointed. Everybody disappointed. 100%. We shouldn't have gotten to this stage. In as much as we work with people, we should be able to fish out information as to what's happening, what's going on. I don't think that they just came up or they just woke up this morning to see or just to hear that they are on strike. At least in as much as they are with them, they would have heard something that, oh, they intend going on strike. So authorities should have just quickly stood up to just avert this situation. It's uncalled for. It's a shame to Ghana.
I arrived at the airport around 4:30. For me to be able to get to the mine around 9 o'clock to start my consultancy work. But then unfortunately, when we came, they checked us up. We went, board the flight, they closed the gate, we went through the safety procedures, only for us to be told that the flight will not allow the engine to be started. So we sat for some time on the flight and they told us to get our baggages and get down and wait. Actually, it's so frustrating. We inquired to find out what's really happening, and all we were told was that the air traffic control are on strike, But I believe that in any civilized country, if such actions are to be taken, there are procedures, right, of which the citizens get to know that, oh, okay, there's been this procedure which is not being adhered to, or maybe there are certain difficulties which may necessitate the strike action. But then we have the right to know. We as Ghanaians have the right to know, this sudden strike action, for instance, looking at the Ghanaians around here, I believe I'm not the only one who is going to contribute to productivity for the nation. A lot of people are going to contribute to productivity for the nation. And we're going to lose that production just because of one organization. So I think that we need to sit up as a nation, to look at certain things very well. We have to think about the nation itself. We have to think about Ghana, because productivity is very important to move the country forward, and then if organizations will just get up and then go on strike for it to affect the productivity of this country, how do we move forward? I'm really disappointed. There could have been a better way. At least information flow is very necessary. Communication down the line is very, very necessary. There was no information. Can you imagine yourself being on the flight, gone through the safety procedures, getting ready to taxi, only to be told that you cannot go? It's not an engine fault, it's not mechanical fault of the flight, but it's an organization in Ghana which has embarked on a strike action. The organization is organizing a vehicle to pick me. That's why I'm here. I'm waiting for a vehicle to drive to Takwa because I need to get to Takwa. Yes, I need to contribute to the organization. I need to work today. Yeah, but you can see time wasted, has affected a whole lot of things. I'm only one person, but look at so many people you find around here. Looking at the people gives me the frustration. Looking at the people gives me the frustration, and I think we must sit up and do something about this. Yeah, we may have genuine cases, but then when we have genuine cases, there are procedures. And even if even you have genuine cases to go on demonstration, on strike or whatever, we the citizens have the right to know, so that we wouldn't travel from our various houses to come to the airport at 4:30, only to be told around this time that it's not possible, you can't go.
Maybe child tickets and ra, and I'm catching saying nemra. Maybe 3 years, so almost saying now more cost strike.
I'm supposed to travel to Bolga, but looking at the situation, I have to go by bus. I'm really disappointed by authorities, as this could have been prevented.
Until we know Bema Medrun Tem, Tinema, me pay win, and almost I am, until Intinema me pay win. Medio Moyapa because so many of my Jumay said, my Medio Moyapa. Because me for when into a business away, I did not be doing no son. O my yini, Medio Muna, my yadi. I dare no uncle, no, so I'm the catcher, and you can some maybe go after an opa, a pim Sammy, so almost solved, so much means solved. To Medio Moya, o my yadi.
Chief Commercial Officer at Amtrak Air, Kweku Enchibwesiako, tells BTA the impact of the strike on the business.
The situation is that as of this morning, around 7 o'clock, we were informed that air traffic control is on strike. And so all domestic airlines, international airlines are not affected, only domestic airlines are not able to operate. And so for Amtrak, we had already operated 2 flights to Kumasi and Tamale. And as of this moment, more than 2 hours since we first got the message, our aircraft are still on ground in Kumasi and Tamale. Passengers are stranded over there. We also have passengers who are stranded in Accra, who should by now have gone to Takoradi and Sunyani, respectively. They are all waiting, and as you just said, I was talking to a client whose passengers are at this point waiting in Accra, to go to Sunyani. So it is a difficult situation for us. Ghana Civil Aviation Authority have confirmed on radio that the situation will be resolved in the next 30 minutes. That should be around 10 o'clock. We also have some information from the Ministry of Transport that they were also working on it, and they had also given 30 minutes. But as of this moment, we don't have any concrete information that exactly what time we will be able to operate again. So yes, we are hopeful that the situation will be addressed, but we can't be 100% confident until we are given accurate information from the authorities. I think the issue can be resolved if the authorities want to resolve it, because This is not the first time the air traffic controllers have threatened a strike action. They first did so about a month ago. In fact, at that time, they sent out letters, which they withdrew a day later because there were negotiations between the Civil Aviation Authority, the government, and the air traffic controllers. As to why they haven't yet managed to resolve the issues, the only clue is what the Civil Aviation Authority's Director General said on radio, that a committee had been formed, and the committee was yet to submit its report to the ministry. Well, as far as we are concerned, that is not good enough, because as you can see, we are suffering the effects. We haven't yet cancelled any flights. We are still waiting for them to resolve the situation and for us to continue from there. The reality, though, is that it provides a lot of challenges for us in terms of how to be able to operate all the flights that we've scheduled for the day before 6 p.m. It's a challenge that we would have to deal with, but the reality is that we may have to cancel some flights towards the end of the day. If that happens, we'll be able to assess how much we lose. But obviously, I mean, any hour that you lose as an airline is quite significant, because you pay for the aircraft, you pay for your staff who are sitting down or working, because people are paid not for the hours they work in Ghana, as you know. So there is a lot of cost associated with flights that have to be cancelled if we have to get to that point. Some passengers will get frustrated, obviously, and I mean, passengers have been complaining. The immediate request normally would have to do with people who are asking for snack or breakfast because their flights have been delayed for more than 2 hours now. But for some of them, if they can't wait because they don't know what's going to happen, they would decide to go by road, in which case they will ask for refund. So right away you lose revenue in that respect. At this point, we haven't yet cancelled any flights, and so we don't know to what extent passengers are going to ask for refund. But normally, if people don't fly, then they will ask for refund, or they would have to use their ticket later on. Whichever way you look at it, the airline would have lost the revenue, because the only point you earn the revenue is after the passenger has actually flown. So until you have operated the flight, even if they paid you the money, you haven't earned it. And so it's a huge loss in the end to the airlines if that happens. We are also stakeholders in the industry, and we are hardest hit by their actions. Unfortunately, in Ghana, because of the way our labor market system is, they will get paid in the end. We, the operators, if we don't earn the money, we don't get paid. Our salaries don't get paid if our companies don't make money. And so we lose, whilst they would eventually get paid whatever they are demanding. And so they should be considerate when they're taking these actions. And also, most importantly, they should realize that passengers do not have anything to do with what's going on, whether the government address their issues or not. If they give us enough notice, then we would also inform our passengers and we wouldn't make reservations or cancel flights for the day. But to just get up one morning and say we are on strike, as they've done, is very, very disturbing.
He expressed disappointment in management for not paying keen interest in the industry.
The issue is, if the controllers had included the international airlines, obviously there would have been enough pressure for the government and GCA to address the issue immediately. It's because the government and GCA obviously don't have the same respect and concern for domestic operators. That's why, I mean, more than 2 hours into the situation, nothing has still been done about it. But I don't think there's any issue that the government and GCA cannot address within a reasonable period of time, such that we should have this situation on our hands today. We have always complained that a lot of attention is given to, say, the Kotoka International Airport and to international airlines, as compared to the attention that domestic airports and domestic operations get from government and the authorities. That we've made no secret of our frustration with how our issues are being addressed. And as to why only domestic operations should be affected by this, beats our imagination as well. I mean, the thing is, if you have issues that have not been addressed, then why should only domestic operators be affected? Unfortunately for us, the domestic airports operate up to 6 p.m. So with 2 hours already lost in the day, most likely we're going to have to cancel some of our flights in the evening. The international airlines will not have the same problem because Kotoka International Airport will operate 24 hours. So even if they should have any delays at all, they would be able to make up for it. We cannot. So apart from whatever we are suffering now, we are also facing the reality of having to cancel some of our flights towards the end of the day. And if any government or any civil aviation authority can tell me they care about our operations, I mean, this shows otherwise. I mean, we can't be convinced that they seriously care about domestic operations.
Even though attempts to speak with authority at the airport proved futile, as at 12 noon, information gathered shows that the authority is in talk with the ministry to address the situation.
Still on air traffic control unit, there are some good news as authorities have finally addressed the situation. BTA checks indicate that the strike was called off a little after 2 p.m. on Tuesday. The nature of trading across local markets in Accra is largely dependent on imports from nearby neighboring countries. The importation of these goods, according to President Mahama, costs Ghana about $1.5 billion on a yearly basis. In the 2014 State of the Nation's address, President Mahama made it clear that his administration is endeavored to totally reduce the importation of these foodstuffs on the Ghanaian market.
Government's quest to cut down on the importation rate of foodstuffs, including tomatoes, is arousing a lot of agitation, especially among tomato sellers. This is Agbogbloshie Market, located at the Central Business District of Accra, a major trading center which attracts thousands of customers and traders. Coco Robertson is a tomato seller. She has just imported basket loads of tomatoes from Burkina Faso and about going for sale. Coco says her tomato business faces a risk of collapsing if a reduction on the importation of these goods are effected.
The possible reduction in importation will make us run at a loss, looking at the cost we'll have to incur patronizing the goods here. Otherwise, it could be much affordable if the borderlines of importation are flexible.
It's been 15 years now since Paulina Afako Odoe entered into the tomato business. She says the reasons for importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso are, among other things, due to poor packaging of tomatoes by Ghanaian farmers. Paulina takes BTA News through the difference in quality of tomatoes produced locally as against that of Burkina Faso. She says the quality of Ghanaian tomatoes are just poor.
The main reason why we import from Burkina Faso is that the quality of tomatoes there are exceptional. Ghanaian tomatoes aren't planted well. They look so pale and unripe. This prevents customers from patronizing them, since it makes cooking difficult. The Ghanaian packaging is just so bad. Local farmers cheat us by stuffing the basket with leaves, thus making you think you have got much tomatoes, only to realize you've been shortchanged. Just see how beautiful the tomatoes from Burkina Faso are. This customers would want to buy. The possible reduction in importation will make us run at a loss, looking at the cost we'll have to incur patronizing the goods here. Otherwise, it could be much affordable if the borderlines of importation are flexible.
Inasmuch as the ban on the importation of local foodstuffs is expected to increase patronage of Ghanaian-made products, the directive, if put to effect, has a potential of affecting businesses. These gentlemen earn a living from offloading goods imported from nearby countries. They say they are bound to lose their jobs if this ban is effected.
Because you must say na baby woma yet me traffic so sa I mean ka say you duma nje ma me say ho che so ba say bi yet me ko ya den yet me ko fe body yet me bi ni aye ana so ko fa watermelon e di ba na ni na du ya say de be ni bi e hwe ma e ni ba no say de be ya ma say ho ya den engineer e wa bi ya.
Currently, Ghana spends over $600 million importing rice and $400 million on sugar, with other basic foodstuffs amounting to about $500 million. Even though the Ghanaian government's quest to go local with production and consumption of goods gains applause from both local and international stakeholders, as this is expected to grow the local industry, it remains unknown how locally manufactured goods can meet international standards. BTA News, Charles Aite.
Moving away from Ghana, it is turning out to be a nightmare outing for Indian conglomerate ESA as far as investments in Kenya are concerned. In the space of just a few months, the company is set to divest from 2 critical infrastructural investments in the country, both of which have failed to come through financially.
The news that Safaricom and Airtel have entered into a deal to buy out U Mobile is sweet music to the ears of the 2 leading mobile phone operators, but bitter for the management of India's SR. Flashback to 2009, the company entered into a joint venture with the government of Kenya, buying a 50% stake in the Kenya Petroleum Refineries Limited. Late last year, it announced it wants out of the deal, seeking to have the government buy back the stake at 430 million shillings. And now the company which was running Kenya's 4th mobile operator, U Mobile, is selling the mobile phone outfit reportedly for $100 million, or an equivalent of 8.6 billion shillings. The deal will see Safaricom fork out the bulk of the funds. Safaricom will take over the infrastructure component of U, while Airtel will benefit from rolling over the customers. U Mobile has struggled to penetrate the mobile phone market and to date remains the only company yet to operate on the 3G network. Price wars between the leading operator, Safaricom, and its 3 competitors seem to have put U Mobile in a difficult position as it was forced to roll out certain price-based campaigns which proved unsustainable. The deal between Safaricom and Airtel is also seen as a unique cessation, albeit a temporary one, of the competitive nature they have had over the years. The reason for that being the fact that 4 companies have expressed interest in getting mobile phone licenses, and it will be to Safaricom's and Airtel's advantage to provide leverage for each other in order to provide a robust defense for their turf. The 4 are Equity Bank, Nakumatt, Mobile Pay, and Zion Cell.
Still on Kenya, business owners whose outlets were affected during the Westgate terror attack stand a chance to be compensated. This is if the government acts on recommendations of a report investigating the matter. The Committee on the Rapid Restoration of Westgate Mall has also recommended that Kenya Commercial Bank resolves any outstanding disputes with the mall owners.
The closure of the Westgate Mall was a major blow for many entrepreneurs. The mall served as a key income stream for businesses owing to its upmarket location.
Of course, we have had such a huge loss of income.
It was unfortunate to have lost this outlet.
One of the reasons why the Westgate Mall has allegedly not yet resumed operations, according to the report, is due to a dispute over insurance compensation, a dispute pitting the business owners and Kenya Commercial Bank. According to Alex Trachenberg, the managing director of Sony Holdings, the company that owns Westgate, during the committee hearings, said KCB had allegedly refused to release 600 million shillings that Kenya India Insurance paid in lieu of the terrorism cover the owners had taken for the building. KCB has allegedly laid claim on the money so far paid into Sony Holdings' account, citing an outstanding loan that Westgate owners have with the bank. The report by the committee has since directed that KCB resolves any disputes with the mall owners within 7 days to allow for speedy resumption of restoration efforts. KCB, in an email sent to NTV, confirmed that it was addressing the matter. In the email, the bank says that the matter is considered as confidential customer contractual matter between KCB and its client. Therefore, KCB has engaged the customer to ensure that the contractual matter is resolved. Additionally, the report recommends that threats of attacks be relayed by the government to the director or managers of shopping malls and public facilities as soon as such information or threat is identified. The report further places emphasis on the need for government to scale up security at malls and public facilities to restore public confidence. Other key proposals contained in the report are that the Inspector General of Police develops a suitable curriculum for training in emergency and security responses for public institutions, shopping malls and public crowded facilities. Of more significance to shop owners will be the proposal to have the government top up funds where there was no insurance for the necessary restoration, as recommended by the Parliamentary Joint Committee and this committee. Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero promised that within 30 days, shop owners should expect tangible results from the government.
That's all we have for you by way of news. Let's take a recap of the headlines. Business came to a standstill as air traffic controllers embarked on strike. Traders cry foul as government made known intention to reduce importation of foodstuff. Indian firm Aces, which raided into Kenya with massive investment in infrastructure, came to a halt. My name is Roberta Ayalingo. Thank you for watching Business Stories on Business Television Africa. Join me same time tomorrow.